The next step in our process is going to be getting some plugins off of Blackboard and throwing some dummy content into our theme, activating our BSpace theme, and stripping away really all the styling that are in WordPress themes so we can put our own styling in there. But first, I'm just going to show you what I'm actually taking from hardcode to WordPress. This is the site I'm going to use for my example. I've got Apex Outdoor Company, a few different. This is the blog page. This is the one that I'll work with. I've got a few different posts on here with pictures, post titles. My page has been organized into content, sidebar, header, footer. So this is the page that I'm going to be working with. I've taken, since we looked last at in the previous video when we were looking in the dashboard at the themes, I had BSpace already activated and we saw what that looked like. There wasn't really anything there. Right now I turned on a different WordPress theme that comes with WordPress when you install it now, the latest versions, called 2011. And my blog, when I turn that theme on, it looks like this. It pulls in the styling from the 2011 theme and kind of transforms it. We're going to implement our own styling, so I want to create a theme that makes my blog look like this whenever I turn the theme on. And that's going to be done inside this starter package. Now this package right next to it actually is based on another starter theme called Starkers. I've just simplified what Starkers is for this class, taken out some of the things that we don't need, and just to give it some more direction. So I'm going to go ahead and activate this again. Now that's activated. If I come back to my blog and hit refresh, you can see that it's taken all the styling away. This is where the theme, BSpace theme, starts out at. There's no styling on it, which gives you the opportunity to add all the styling that you need. See, all the actual raw content is there, but pretty much all the styling and arrangement has been stripped away. On Blackboard, you're going to want to get a couple more files now. So go back to Blackboard. There's two things we're going to install right off the bat. We're going to do the initial setup here before we really start arranging our blog and tweaking it and putting content in it and that sort of thing. There's a couple plugin files in the back end that you're going to want to download. That's here, Google Analytics for WordPress. So I'll download that one. And we also have WordPress SEO.zip, so I'll get that one as well. The third thing you want to download here is post.xml. I've actually already downloaded this one, so I won't download that one again just for time. I've got it downloaded already. So these all need to go inside the same structure in amps. Last time we were in the themes folder, so in themes, in BSpace, that's where we unpacked that original theme and got it to show up on our WordPress backend. This is where I'm going to drop the post.xml, so you see I've dropped that file in there. I'll use that here in a little bit to put some dummy content into my template. Now you already saw on my blog I've already got some stuff in there. You probably won't. You'll probably have just one post that says hello world, and that'll be it. If you want to make up your own dummy content, fine. This is just for you to have some stuff so you can see what your styling is doing. That's what that is for. The other two things you just downloaded, those two plugins, are actually going to go in this plugins folder inside the AMP structure. So we're still in WP content. Let's see. There we go, scroll backwards. I'm in the WP content folder, plugins, and this is where we're going to want to drop Google Analytics for WordPress. We'll give you some additional capabilities for your WordPress site. We won't actually do a whole lot with them, just because we already have enough things to do with this assignment as is, but I wanted to show you that if you want to install plugins manually on your blog and someone sends you a zip file, or you go download a file or package for a plugin on the internet, where it's supposed to go. So it goes here in this plugins folder inside WP content. We open those up and they got all their package contents in there, so good to go on that one. The last thing to get on Blackboard while you're here is this WP conversion notes PDF file. These are some steps that's sort of what I'm following with this, to take you through this conversion process, things that you don't want to leave out. So we're moving into the section on those notes called local configuration. I would definitely download this file, print it out, or keep it on your computer if you haven't already. So what we're interested in doing now, if I go back to my blog page, is we'll upload that dummy content into our blog, and we'll change some initial settings to make sure everything's going to work alright for us. So I'm going to go back to my dashboard. Now you can see here my current theme has got the name bspace by, that's me, version 1, all this information that it's pulling. That's the first thing we're actually going to change, so you can name that theme to whatever you want it to be called. So in Finder, or wherever your files are for this theme, so again I'm in my AMP structure, themes, bspace is the theme I'm working with, CSS is my reset, that's the wrong place, excuse me, we got style.css. Now this is the primary style sheet for the entire theme. I'm going to open this up in my preferred code editor here, which for me is Sublime. So we'll open that guy. And up there at the top, it's got information inside some comment markers. This is what WordPress actually uses to pull in the theme information for your theme. So I'm going to change this to match what I wanted to say. So I'm going to say the Apex Outdoor, the theme URI. This is if you had a development website. This actually links to Starkers. I'm going to leave the description about how it's based on Starkers, because it is. This is the first version of my theme, so I'm going to say 1.0. Leave my name for author. Tags, I'm going to change that to say Apex Outdoor as well. And maybe outdoor theme as another tag. These will be things that if your theme were to be packaged and complete enough to go in the WordPress themes database, people could use these terms to search for and find your theme if they wanted to use it too. So we got that. Save this. Let's look in the back end again. I'm going to hit refresh. You see some stuff pops up here about Google Analytics, that plugin we just dropped in the folder. We'll take a look at that in a minute to see where that showed up. But now you can see the name has changed. My current theme is Apex Outdoor. Haven't changed anything about the styling yet, but got that down. The next thing we're going to do is bring in our CSS from our hard-coded file. Now, here's my hard-coded one single page, and actually in my text editor as well, I've got one window open for my WordPress stuff. This is the window that I've got for my hard-coded page, and there's my HTML. I've got layout for the blog there. Here's my CSS. So I want all the CSS I've got to be applying to the theme that I'm building in WordPress. So essentially what I'm going to do, and yes, there will be some redundancy because we're just copying and pasting between some of the tags that are already in this theme and some of the stuff that we've got. is to copy and paste everything that I have in my CSS folder and move it over there to, or in my CSS file, and move it to the CSS file that I'm working with on the WordPress side. So I'm going to copy that from my hard-coded page, and I'm going to add this here under the media queries section. Now we won't worry about media queries for this particular assignment. If we were actually building this, definitely would strongly suggest doing your media queries so you have a responsive site. But I'm going to add a new section down here at the bottom of the style sheet and have it be, just going to call it general styles for the things that we are adding from our style sheet. So I'm going to copy and paste all that in there. I'm going to save style.css. Now this style.css is the same thing that we just opened from our WordPress, our blank starter WordPress theme. So we got that in there. I'm going to check and make sure at the top of this same style sheet that I'm linking to reset.css. There's a reset included by default with this VSpace starter package. It's actually in this, if I'm back in Finder, it's in the CSS folder. So you've got reset CSS. If you use a different reset as you're coding your single page, you can replace this reset with the one that you use. That's fine. It'll probably help you to do that. I use the same one, so I'm going to leave it there. The other thing I'm going to add, though, I actually put my type related stuff in another CSS folder. So see, they've got here a typography section of the style sheet. If you want to use that, that's cool. I will probably come back, not in this video, later and rearrange the style sheet, maybe delete this area because I handled that in a separate file. So I'm going to use another import statement on this style sheet. You can see in my hard code for my site, the one that I've hard coded now, I've got an import for my reset and an import for something type CSS, which is just a short style sheet that I've handled some typography with. I've got all my type related properties in here. So I'm going to copy and paste type.css into this amp structure, and that's going to be located, so I can get to it quickly. Apex Outdoors is the folder I was working in, site, and I've got type.css. So I'm going to copy this file, see if we got it there. I'll paste this file into my WordPress structure. So I've got type.css in there as well. Back in my code editor, in style.css, that WordPress style sheet, I'm going to link up my type.css. Now I put it in the CSS folder as well. So got that. Now you may not have to do that, but I used a separate type file, so that's something that I needed to do. So we got that linked up. Let's just take a quick peek at what we've got right now. Now I don't expect this to be looking too good, but we'll hit refresh, and we've got some of the type related properties are pulling over, but you can see that really the styling hasn't changed a lot. That's fine. That's actually something that I expect at this point, because we haven't moved any of our actual markup over to the page, so there is no markup for the CSS to be styling. So that's cool. We'll fix that later. Let's see. The other thing that we can do right now before we start messing around with our markup is to move over some of our resources. So if you have any theme specific stuff, resources that you need, so here's my hard-coded file, my site structure that I've been working with. I have a fonts folder and an images folder, and my fonts folder has League Gothic, which is the typeface that I was using for my page. So I definitely want that to be a part of this theme structure because that's something that's theme specific. It's not something the user can change. And I have some images in here that were just part of the some filler images that I just threw in, but I also have some things that are part of backgrounds and things that the user also really won't be able to change, theme specific images. So I want to take these resources and put those as part of the theme as well. So I'm going to copy my fonts and images folder and put them into my BSpace theme. Now I can see there's already an IMG folder in the theme. I'm going to leave this structure as it is right now with images. Well, you know what? Yes, I'll leave this as it is right now, and I'll move the link for this favicon later. We won't worry about that right now. But I've also got fonts, dump that in there. The reason why that's important is because in my style sheet for style.css, you can see here for where I say set the background image for H1, I've got it pointing to images/mount.jpg. Now that file didn't exist just a minute ago until I added it. Same thing in style or type.css. If I open that one, see if I can get it open in the same window here. Open type.css. It's looking for these font files to be stored in a file called fonts within the local structure. So just giving it that, that's good. So I'm going to close that one. Shouldn't need to edit that. So that's been saved. Let's take another look. So for the things that it does understand, like the background there, it's been able to style the background. That's good. We'll have to probably take care of some of this font stuff later because it doesn't still have the proper markup to style this, so it's messing that up. But some of our theme specific images are transferring over, the ones that it can understand. So we've got those resources all over there, which is good. Next thing, looking at my conversion notes, we'll change some basic settings in the dashboard and import our dummy content, and that will be where we'll stop for this video. So let's get back to our dashboard real quick. I think we're already there in Safari. So a couple settings that we are going to need to change. So we're in the back end of WordPress. We're at themes here. We've already applied the theme to our site. That's the first thing, so we got that. A couple settings that we'll need to do. So under settings, first one you want to go to is reading. And this is where you can choose whether or not you want to run your blog roll or pick a static page for your particular site. So I'm gonna run the blog roll for this. So blog pages, you can control how many posts to show at the most or the least, all this stuff. This is the main option here, so we'll hit save changes. We got that. The other thing you want to check under settings is permalinks to make sure it's using something other than the default. This will spit out some gross file names whenever we get it to a live install, and as you're working with this, some really long link paths. So just choose one of these other options. It doesn't really matter which one, but just pick one. I'm going to go with month and name, and we'll hit save changes there. Last thing to do, we're going to go to Tools, Import, and we're going to toss that dummy content into our theme. So I'm going to choose this last option under Import, WordPress Import, to import an XML file of WordPress content. Now, if you haven't done this before or used this feature before, it will ask you to install. It'll take all of 1 minute, and after the installation, click Activate and Import Content, and you'll get to this screen. So I'm going to hit Choose File, and I put the file that I want to use inside my bspace template. So I'm going to navigate there real quick, see if it's in my recent options. Yep. So it's actually inside this bspace folder. That's where I put it when I downloaded it from Blackboard. Post.xml is what it's called. I'll choose that. I'm going to upload and import. So I'm going to, when you import this, make sure you give the author a name that you realize, so you know that what these posts are not real. So I'm going to call them dummy. And file attachments. We'll leave that unchecked for now. We'll just pull in the text content. So we'll hit submit there. All done. Alright, let's check that out and see what kind of stuff we got. I'm going to go to posts and see. So we've got a lot of extra posts showing up here. Looks like it might have duplicated some stuff. Well, anyhow, there are a lot of posts now on our page. You see that? This will allow us to see how things are styling, if we got styling for different types of elements. Particularly for the post format, this will be useful to have several posts on there. We'll come back at the end whenever we're done and delete any content with the author of dummy and get rid of all that stuff. Alright, so that's it for this video. We've got our initial CSS in there. We've downloaded plugins, and we've changed our settings for our starter package to make this have your own theme name, implemented the theme. Next, we're going to look at transplanting our markup and changing some of our CSS to make sure that our styling carries over. We'll do that section by section.